You're listening to the Live Out Loud podcast with River Wynn and Michelle Flamer.
Hi, River.
Hey, Michelle.
I love when you mirror me. It's so fun.
So fun.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. So today we are going to talk about a topic. We're going a little deeper.
Deep.
So deep.
Deep.
Into the push-pull of like modern dating and like when attachment styles change. Like it's a noticeable change. Like for you, like I haven't honestly, I was anxious and then only when it's a gray area, but now I'm secure.
Mm-hmm.
You're anxious, you moved into the temperature of avoidant
Mm-hmm.
and then leaning towards secure.
Yeah, and I think, one of the things that's important to say about attachment styles is that anybody can shift between those, um, those labels at any point in time. It's not like we're secure for life or we're anxious for life or avoidant for life or disorganized attachment for life. It's situational sometimes too. Um, but I will say, yeah, so I would say coming out of my marriage and my dating history, up until probably about 2 years ago, a year ago, I was very much anxious attachment dating, where I was like so anxious about being chosen, about being loved, that I just chased and chased and chased and chased.
Yeah.
And what we know about avoidant attachment is that it's the same exact fear and wound as anxious attachment.
Yep.
Wanting to be loved, wanting to be chosen. It's just the manifestation of behavior is different, and that the anxious person is emotionally unavailable, really, at the truth of it.
Yeah.
Because they're not emotionally secure in themselves.
That's right.
But they chase because they need
There's a lot of shame and self-blame.
Yeah, a lot. And then the avoidant person is also emotionally unavailable, but from a space of fear and not wanting to be hurt.
And also being too much.
Yeah, being afraid of being too much, just not being
too needy.
Yeah, being abandoned.
Yep, abandonment
Not
wounds.
being
Yep.
chosen. But whereas the anxious person sees, I'm not going to be chosen, and they chase it harder, the avoidant person's like, I might not get chosen, so they just completely avoid it altogether.
Yep. It's some shit, actually. It sucks.
It does suck because you're really missing out,
Well, of course. Like, when did you realize like this shifted for you?
I mean, really, it's been kind of recent that I've really realized and had the epiphany of, oh, I'm definitely more in the avoidance space.
Yeah.
Um,
What's the core root of it for you?
for me, I hear a lot of narratives in my head around things like I won't get to have, or it'll never be enough. I'll never be enough for someone, or no one could possibly want to date a single mom with 2 kids, or just like all these really negative narratives where it's it feels I realize that those voices are coming from a space that thinks it's safer just to not even try, not to put myself out there. And I recently, a couple weeks back, I had made a Instagram post talking about how my life was my dating life is on pause probably until my kids are older. And at the time, I really truly meant what I said, because I was in a space where I was like, I love my life. I love where my life is at. And that's still true. But I realized I kind of wrote that post from a space of feeling like it's going to be impossible to date and have a partner in this chapter of my life as a woman. And so I'm just not even going to try. And when I went back and I reread the post, I was like, oh, look at that. That's an avoidant. That's avoidance right there. Like, because two things are true for me. I have a fear of dating, and the dating is really hard for me. And also, I do want to have a partner. I do miss
Hmm.
flirting. I do miss dating. I do miss partnership. I miss dating. But the fear outweighs the missing it,
Yeah.
I would say, a lot of the time.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, as someone who's secure, it is so different from being the anxious, but I realized the core root of my anxiousness was really just like the gray area, the the no clarity space. For
Hmm.
some reason, I guess my childhood wounds around the need to have clarity is probably based on that my parents really didn't communicate with each other. And I
Mm,
saw how that worked and it didn't. And so luckily, I also got to grow up around my dad when he was married to my stepmom before he passed away, of course.
yeah.
And they had great communication, but I think there's still that part of me that is like maybe around the self-worth and also like not being chosen. Like,
Hmm.
because when parents are angry through their divorce. I think sometimes kids, or sometimes like me, where I was probably people please. That's probably when I started people pleasing.
Yeah.
It's starting to be like, I have to be perfect now because I don't want either of them to want to leave us, right? That
Yeah.
fear, that's just like an organic fear for a young kid. And I don't want this to trigger you because it's exactly the same age as, your oldest. When,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
no, these are things that my kids are gonna have to go through someday.
yeah,
I have my kids in therapy and we work through these things because I already know. I already
yeah.
understand,
Okay, good.
you know.
It was a cute express. It was an expression on your face, and I was like, oh, am I, I don't really trigger you. So it's like,
No, I
yeah,
was
yeah,
just thinking, I was like nodding along and thinking of, yeah, that's probably something real for my kids too, of
yeah, totally. So
thinking about how the pressures that puts on kids and divorce to not make waves and to,
yep.
that fear of not being chosen by a parent or not being enough for a parent. I think it's probably very real for
I
kids.
think I
Divorce.
think I found it weird during that time and era. It was so normal for the father to have the kids every other weekend.
Yeah, that was standard parenting time, I think.
Standard, which I
Yeah.
find so odd because had I had a choice, I would have been like, let's do 1 week on, 1 week off, like we do with Kaden. I mean, if I don't have Kaden full time, then I'm for sure want the full week. Like I have to max out my time with that kid, just like you love your days with yours, and cherish it. Because we know it's fleeting, right? It's just
It is. Yep.
fleeting time. So, but I do think that's probably where it came from, and also could have come from even like micro trauma from like just being a teenager and not being chosen. Or I know like, kids who were bullied and from a young age, it's like that shows up for them a lot too because they clearly weren't chosen and then they were just told every day that they were nothing, right?
And it doesn't even have to be from childhood. It could be like you had a relationship in college that was pretty impactful and
Right. That's
was
where I was
a little
getting to.
tea, a
Yep.
little trauma of, it didn't work out. And
Oh, he didn't like me.
the way that it felt forever changed how you feel about yourself and relationship.
And it's funny because depending upon our age and what kind of work we've had already on that, or where we were born, who we were born to, like all those things, it's like you just push it down and you're just like, oh, well, I guess that's just a part of life. But you don't like actually sit in it when you're 15 years old. You're just like, what's the next thing that spark joy? You don't realize you're chasing the same dopamine fix. We're just unconscious of it at those ages.
Yeah, we are. Yep.
It's so trippy. So, it's like one of those things where, so for you, when you were more anxious in dating, what did you need from someone to feel safe? And did it come organically? Like, is it always such a lovely surprise for you because you're already like on hyperdrive, like beep, 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 like the anxious antennas are like up immediately usually.
Yeah, it was interesting looking back at my dating history. Anxious attachment showed up for me in that I didn't give myself time to discern whether or not I actually liked someone. It was
Yeah.
if
Oh.
someone was interested in me, I had to swoop it up and
Mhm.
keep it. I had to bring it as close as I possibly could. So what that looked like really having a hard time with not being together all the time.
Yeah.
So like codependency, in a way. Um, it looked like needing constant reassurance. It looked like even when things were quote unquote good in a relationship, not being able to feel comfortable or settled because in the back of my head, I needed to have continual evidence in some way that I was still being chosen. So I expected like big grand romantic gestures or just like constant deep conversations. I wanted to be constantly texted. It was constant needing from me to the person that I was with.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times I would end up dating people who were more emotionally avoidant or even not even emotionally avoidant. Like I dated someone off and on for 10 years I would describe him as a pretty secure person. And he had a very secure two-parent household where they were fully involved in his life. And he was just a very confident, secure person. But my anxiety was really stressful for him. And it ultimately did kind of like chase him away multiple times where I
Mm.
just tried so hard to hold on to it and constantly have the conversation of what are we? Are we okay? Are things okay? I didn't hear from you today. Are we okay? And it just drove him absolutely insane. And so that's how it showed up for me and being, anxious in that way.
Do you think you've had a secure relationship yet?
I would say that I probably have never had a serious, not a serious, I've obviously had a serious relationship. I've never had a secure relationship with longevity. I would say that
Mhm.
the last person I dated was definitely more of a secure connection
Yeah.
because I was more secure in myself.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how
And
it works?
I didn't I didn't spend much time chasing after him,
Yeah.
or doing a lot of those behaviors. So I noticed in my last dating relationship, which was 2.5-ish years ago, that a lot of those behaviors had changed. And
Hmm.
then when it didn't work out, there weren't any red flags. It wasn't a toxic situation. It just didn't work out because it wasn't the right person. That's just
Yeah.
simply what it was. Not the right person, the right situation for either of us. And when, like, the moment that we broke up, it wasn't devastating to me
Hmm.
like it had previously. Like, I,
And that doesn't mean anything even negative. Like it just means
yeah,
that you were
but that was a
super
big
present
moment
through
for
the
me.
whole relationship that
Yeah.
you weren't. I think it's more devastating when you put so much hope and we put so much future stuff on people early in dating, right? It's like
Well,
Sabrina the
that's
Bar.
exactly what had happened in the past was that
Right. Right.
I would look at someone I've been dating for a month and a half and if it didn't work out, just feel absolutely wrecked.
Yeah.
Absolutely devastated. Couldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks, just completely heartbroken, depressed, like severe depression. And when this person and I broke up 2.5 years ago, it was like we didn't even break up because we weren't officially like together. We've been dating for 3 months. And when we chose not to continue dating, it wasn't devastating. I was a little sad because I really liked him. And he was sad because he liked me, but it wasn't devastating.
Yeah.
And that for me was a turning point where I realized that I no longer behaved in dating as an anxious attachment
Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot.
because I
So
was becoming more secure in myself.
totally. So in this new space, like what's your first instinct when someone does show interest and like leans in or steps back? What are you noticing in that moment?
I am noticing recently, I'm noticing that when someone is interested in me,
Yeah.
I don't believe them.
It's
And
so
it's
silly when
so
you say it
funny.
out
I
loud,
know.
right? Like it's like I just don't believe them.
I just don't believe them. It's not that my secure sense of self doesn't believe them, because me in my grounded, rooted, what we call an IFS, like self energy,
Yeah.
and when I'm in my self energy that's connected safely to myself, I'm providing everything I need. I'm rooted, I'm grounded, and I'm whole. That state you want to achieve in meditation and in self growth and all of that. When I'm in that space, I know logistically, I know talking to you now
Yeah.
logistically that none of that is true, right?
Right.
But in that moment, when someone is expressing an interest in me,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm interested in someone, and there's an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity, my entire system just goes haywire.
So
And my
interesting.
system doesn't believe that that person could possibly be truthful, that
Yeah.
this person actually likes me, and that there could actually be an opportunity to get to know this person. And so my behavior now, it's funny because I see it happening in real time and I'm able
Yep.
to reflect on it and I'm aware of it, I'm conscious of it.
Yeah, we talk it through
Is
and we
we
talked
talk
it
it
through a
through.
little bit.
Is my behavior is avoidant. I avoid it. I shut it down. I shut down. I hermit. Do things like make that Instagram post of my dating life is closed until my kids are grown up.
Of course it is.
I hide away. I wall off because
Right.
my entire system is going danger. You could get vulnerable with
Danger, T.
someone.
Robinson.
You
Danger,
could get
Will.
vulnerable with someone. They could actually see you and really, really like you. And this could
Yeah.
actually bring you to what it is that you actually want. And that feels unsafe.
So the one thing that I noticed I haven't seen you say, because you share like text with me and fun stuff, like so we
Yeah.
can unpack it, right? Um, the one thing that I haven't seen you kind of say around that is whether or not you're telling whoever you're talking to that you need a slow roll. And and maybe, just maybe, that'll help that going forward because I think the slower you need slow but yet consistent. Not meaning
That's the
all
piece right
not
there.
meaning all day long, but consistently clear in within the pockets of text you guys might do because you get busy too. Like you might not be back for 3 hours. It's not like a constant thread because your ADHD honestly has a challenge around that stuff too.
Yeah.
So
It's
maybe
interesting because I think people who are usually dating avoidant people often complain about being love bombed. And I can absolutely understand that, how someone could love bomb you, because I think sometimes I do that unconsciously.
right.
Of I'm gonna talk to you, talk to you, talk to you, and then I'm gonna freak out in my head, in my body,
Yeah.
I over something very tiny that you probably have no idea, and then I'm gonna shut down and I'm
Yeah.
gonna disappear.
Yep.
And so and I don't tell people that I need slow burn because my system's still getting used to the idea of consistency and
Yeah.
slowness, and that's what I need, and it's still learning that that's what I need. Um,
I can tell
because
you
I
I can
chased
tell you on
intensity for so long, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, when I first got divorced, like the slow roll was annoying for me. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh God, like,
Yeah.
really? Like, don't you just know? Like, let's just have the conversations and like, Samantha and you and even Michelle, because our friend
Yeah.
Michelle, she's a very much self-proclaimed anxious. And
Yeah.
so it's fascinating now, almost God, 3 years later, pretty much 2.5, maybe, two. And and I actually really now enjoy the slow roll. Like, maybe even a year ago, I still was like in that frame of mind of that it's that lesbian mentality. Like, not that
Mm,
I have zero desire right now to live with anybody. Let's be real.
mm,
Like, I'm fine. I can say that shit. Um, I don't need to live with anybody right now. And that's a good thing to know because It's like I don't want to make any rash decisions. So
Mhm.
slowing down now feels really good. And once, and I mean slow down in the sense of it's not like how it's just taking the time and care and being intentional around it. So, and then when you get a rhythm with somebody and you start to know who they are, well, then it's just a flow at that point, you know? So it's nice. It's like things have been established, boundaries are clear. And asking like, can we go there? Can I talk about this? What's off limits? But I think for you, maybe doing something a little different now going forward, and you still have the opportunity to tell anybody who you are talking to that you say, hey, and also I just realized that I haven't said this because, I get excited or because, I saw you the other day, whatever. It's like sometimes I just need a slow roll into things but you will always like I'll always respond. I'll always that's how you show up secure because you're like setting the intention, which I think is sexy. Like I
Yeah,
love
like
it.
I did. I mean, I'm kind of getting to know somebody right now, like very, very slowly and intentionally.
Yeah.
Um,
But did you say that
and
in
I
the
did, I did, because we were trying to plan,
Oh, about the
like,
scheduling because you guys, yeah.
yeah, we were trying to plan like going for a walk, like for our first hangout,
Yeah.
and like super low key, super casual, like no pressure. And realized that we couldn't get our schedules to align in the next week because of kids and whatnot, just schedules, and coming to the conclusion that it was probably going to take us a couple of weeks to be able to actually do that, and just agreeing like, okay, cool. And I made the intention of saying, hey, that's totally great, like, well, it'll happen at the right time. In the meantime, I'm not really a good consistent communicator online, but I would love to continue chatting with you.
Yeah, like that is the most coolest. That's a great way to set that intention. Like, hey, I'm aware of our schedules. I'm not dinging this for it.
And I
Like,
made the intention to, and I even
yeah,
messaged
you initiated.
took a couple of days away from initiating, and then I made sure to initiate today, that so that that person knows that even though I'm not a great online consistent communicator, I'm still going to make an effort to show up.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that I was just saying is like you get to a point where you're just like you can just be active in it, as it's just a free flow. So you're like responding, you're matching that energy.
But something I want to say too, like about avoidant energy, because I'm seeing it and noticing it, feeling it, is like, I think people assume that of emotionally avoidant people just aren't able to be emotional. And I think that that couldn't be further from the truth. Like,
Yeah.
I find myself like I am overthinking. I am very emotional about the things I'm experiencing, feeling, and the fear, and the self-protection is from a
Hmm.
place of fear. And then the quote unquote, love bombing that can happen, or
Yeah.
the pattern that can happen in behavior with an avoidant person is like, I recognize that if I don't try to connect with you, you're going to leave.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to connect.
Yeah.
And a connecting sometimes takes us to a place of being more vulnerable. And being
Yeah.
vulnerable is scary and hard. So then I get overwhelmed and emotional, and I don't want to get vulnerable. So I back off again. And it's this cycle.
Yeah.
And then the anxious person starts chasing, and it's like, that's that, anxious avoidant pattern that people talk about.
Yeah. So one of the questions that I had for you was like are you starting to trust your gut more or are you still second guessing your feelings? Because we talked a little bit on that where you're sort of have those beliefs, but do you think you're going to be able to like tomorrow morning wake up and feel like closer to trusting your gut?
I think being aware of my avoidant tendencies right now is really helping me, because I'm able to trust myself and recognize those thought patterns and say, okay, I need to sit back and look into what I'm feeling right now and really
Yeah.
understand what's at the root of it. Like, where is this really coming from? And just get quiet. Like, especially over the last couple of days, I've just really found myself looking for meditation, looking for quiet reflection, journaling,
Hmm.
just really sitting with what I'm feeling and experiencing, and not just I like not reacting, just
Hmm.
responding to my own emotions and things. Um, I feel like overall I do trust my gut pretty strongly. I think that when I start second guessing and overthinking it, then I don't trust myself as much.
Hmm.
And then it can kind of spiral into more overthinking, more second guessing, and then that's when I'm doing
That's
things
and
like analyzing every message and sending them to my friends. Like, what do you think this means? And what should I say? What should
I
I
was
say?
gonna say, and you call it your bestie, and they're like, okay.
Exactly.
And I could just tell by the way when I answer, you go, hello.
Hmm. And it's so
It
funny because
literally
like,
is like that silly emoji that you send me, like the little
exactly, yeah, yep. And it's so funny because I was talking about this with one of my other best friends today, who
Mhm.
has had a lot of similar childhood trauma and like dating trauma that I
Yeah.
had, and we're very similar in how we perceive the world, and we're also both neurodivergent. And so I think there's also two things. One, there's a little bit of a neurodivergence lens for me too in dating, of
Yes.
trying
Tone.
trying to discern between what is underneath the surface intuition, gut feeling, and
Hmm.
what is like comes
What's
from
real?
neurodivergence.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
am I seeing this from a lens of neurodivergence and um
Yeah.
reading into something where I shouldn't be? Like, that's, tone via texting,
Gotcha.
tone in person, like body language, all of that can be tricky sometimes. Like reading the room.
Hey, I wonder if like a FaceTime would help sooner than later, just so that you can see expressions, things like that.
Yeah, totally. I think that would probably be a helpful thing, very much so. And then the other thing is that my best friend said something today that just kind of blew my mind, which is why I suggested we have this topic for our podcast in the first place, is that
Yeah.
she said, as someone who's also been avoidant, she said, an avoidant person needs the other person to like them more than they like the other person.
And that's why you're always sort of like, well, I need them to initiate because that's like a ding ding ding.
Because it's
I
being
like you.
shown that this is true and this is real. So if
Right.
you like me more than I like you, and you are chasing me,
Yep.
the anxious person chasing me, then I know I'm being chosen.
As opposed to it feeling calm, grounded, and rooted in built trust. So
Yeah,
different.
100%. I
And
think the thing that's different for me now is that knowing that I am pretty secure within myself for myself,
yeah,
being aware of these tendencies and behaviors and seeing it happen in real time means I can sit back and I can choose to do differently and
yeah,
show up differently.
yeah, I just really, I mean, one of the things that I look for as a barometer to someone's attachment style or their healing or where they are on their journey is that they can tell me that they need a slow roll
Exactly.
or that they're in a great place and they have lots of bandwidth, or they have no bandwidth. They probably had no reason to be on the dating app in itself, but here we are. You know what I mean? But at least if they know that, like, okay, clearly I have a lot of work to do, or clearly I have ADHD and like can't get back to people in a timely manner or whatnot. And I think it's my response to them, which is when they're like, wow, they just feel heard in that moment. And it's cool because you feel, if even if it's a text, you literally feel their shoulders just drop like in a big breath. Just
Hmm.
by the next text that comes, you're like, okay, they've done work. They were being introspective, they responded accordingly. That has earned them a little more time with me.
Yeah.
I like look at it as not that it's a tit, there's no tit for tat. It's not being
Hmm.
manipulative. It's literally like my generator gut instinct that says, you've just earned a little more time with me. Like I'm a video game. Like I'm fun. Like if you want to
Yeah.
keep playing with me, you gotta put in the quarter equity, right? That's what I call like the heart equity. And you're putting in your tokens with me.
Yeah.
I think every token is like a vulnerability, a hilarious, funny something, a childhood memory. Like
Hmm.
it's all these different things wrapped up, and it's like cool. And I'm putting tokens into you, and we're just banging back on. Let's just say ding, 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 ding. It's like Pong, boop, boop,
Yeah.
boop, boop, And it's cool when you get to that place and you're like, this is great because they're either going to be for me or they're not.
And I think that's so telling of like a secure attachment because when you stop dating from a place of are they going to choose me? Um, are they going to abandon me?
Yeah,
And you date from a place of do I like them?
correct. Do I enjoy this?
That
If this
changes
doesn't,
everything.
yeah, if this doesn't feel good, I say it nicely and I move on.
Yeah, 100%.
I have such good friends. I'm so filled up in so many other ways that, like I say, like they have to add to my piece. They have to add to my life. Can I see them in my day to day? Could I see them around my best friends? What would my best friends be invigorated around them too? Like, would there be a fun rapport, built in?
Yeah,
All of that starts to come into play if you like somebody. It's not,
it does. And I've been thinking about expanders a lot too of like
yes,
just even last night I had this very expansive moment where after being with one of my best friends all day because we were both she
working.
worked in kind of not working for her. She was part of this wedding, but I was working doing photography for a wedding for a mutual
Yeah.
friend. And so she and I carpooled all day, and her husband was part of the wedding. And
Oh, I know. That's so sweet. I love
yeah, it
it.
was so sweet. And after the um, after the reception, he went home to take care of their girls and relieve the babysitter while she stayed and helped me with like she was kind of my photo assistant for the rest of the day,
Yeah.
just hanging out, and it was just such a fun time. But we had a near bad accident on the way back, driving back from the wedding where we got ran off the road by another driver, and it could have been really terrible, but
I'm so glad you guys are okay.
we were okay. The car was okay. Like it could have been so bad, but we were unscathed. But it really shook both of us. Our nervous systems were really just, so disrupted. And she called her husband as we were driving back, told him what happened. She was like, "Hey, we're gonna need some time to just like decompress." And he was like, "Don't worry,
Mhm.
I got you. I got the girls. I got you." And we got back, and he taken the girls for a walk, so we could have 20 minutes like without kids around. And as soon as he got back with the kids, I was thinking about ordering crumble cookie because I was just craving something sweet.
That looks so good. That particular one.
Right?
Okay, you can tell me the flavor after you tell the story.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there on DoorDash, like about to order crumble cookie, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm about to order crumble cookie. Would you guys eat it with me?" And he was like, "Don't order that. Don't do that." And I was like, "No, but I
What?
want some." And he was like, "No, no, no. I'm gonna go get it. Just send me a
Oh, they were
screenshot."
just saying, don't order it, but I'll go get it.
He said that. He was
That's
like,
so
her
cute.
husband, he was like, "Don't order that. I'm gonna go pick up dinner for you guys and just tell me what you want from crumble cookie. Send me a text of what you want and I'll just go get it." And he did. He went and got dinner and he got crumble cookie and he came back and he poured us a couple glasses of wine and he handled taking care of the kids and getting them ready for bed it wasn't even a question.
Yeah.
And in that moment it was just so expansive for me of okay, there are truly wonderful human beings out there and they can be so aligned and people can just be so wonderful to you
Hmm.
if it's the right person for you. And so really dating is being in the space of dating from alignment is
Dating from alignment.
does this it's like curiosity. It's
Curiosity,
few
exactly.
layers of curiosity continuously and seeing if they align and if it feels good and if it feels right to you and how they show up and then then getting to the point of like, oh, maybe I can do life with this person.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to take a couple of years because
Yeah.
we know it takes a few years to seriously know somebody, but that's it. You just stay curious. I mean, I think that was what was so beautiful and special about my dad and Mary Jean is that they just always stayed like excited about each other. It was like the other was such a mystery for them.
Mm.
And that is so sweet. It's like Andrea Gibson said about their wife,
Yeah.
Megan, on, We Can Do Hard Things, their double date episode. So if anybody who's listening wants to hear something really beautiful, and if you've been under a rock, Andrea Gibson is a
Mm.
queer, non-binary poet, right? Am I
Yep.
right in the way that I said that? And
Yes.
then and they were with their partner for around 10, 11 years, suffered from cancer
Yeah.
and passed away just about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just you can't, I mean, for me and my algorithm, I can't like escape a day without seeing something cool from Andrea. But the
Yeah.
way that they looked at their partner while they were doing the most mundane thing, I think they were suffering from chemo, excuse me, came out and I was just watching Megan do the dishes and
Mm.
just the curiosity around thinking to themselves, who is that mystery over there? They've probably been together 6, 7 years, spending tons of time with each other throughout the cancer process, but still remaining curious.
Yeah.
To have that kind of love, to also know that you're ready for that capacity and it doesn't scare you but you've allowed the time to get to know somebody and they want
Yeah.
to be by somebody who wants to be known by you. I mean, it's a cherished experience.
I think it's so easy to want to skip ahead to the good part.
Right. And but guess what? All of it's the good part.
I know.
All of it's the
But
meet
we
and
don't see
cute.
it that way sometimes, right?
I
Especially
know,
when we're anxious
but
or we're
that's where I'm seeing,
fearful,
like you're
you know?
standing from a point, I'm sitting
Yeah.
insecure, and I'm like, no, that's what we're doing. Like
I
that's
couldn't
what's
agree
happening.
more. And that's the goal, right? It's just, we have to really get to a space where we realize for ourselves, like, there's no rush.
Yeah.
We're safe. We're safe. We don't need to cling on. We don't need to chase. We don't need to be chosen because we're good,
And
in
when you
total.
get an anxious or an avoidant ping, you know, it's just that reminder of where you're still working, where you just need to lean into yourself a little bit more and having the tools. So when the ping comes, it's like when you're hungry, right? But you're working out, you're losing weight, you're on a weightlifting program, whatever that is, and everyone, meal preps at the beginning of the week, right? And you
Yeah.
get the hunger pang. What do? You go to the refrigerator, you grab a pre-made meal because you have your built-in success, right?
Yeah.
Because you have the tools to
Yep.
not be stuck and be like, what the hell am I going to eat? Now you're eating shitty stuff that's not actually adding value to next day's workout, to where you want to be, the body you envision yourself to have. It's the same thing with relationships. So
Yeah.
this time of sure, you don't have to focus totally on self-love. We know this now.
Yep.
That self-love is the first step to walking away from what's not for you, for asking for what you need, and also recognizing what the list even is, like what the thing is for you, what is the non-negotiable, what is the requirement here. And the cool
Mhm.
thing at the end of the day is that you just start to say, this is who I am, and if someone doesn't vibe with that, oh my God, I'm excited for them to then go and find what does vibe for them.
Exactly.
Like it's just giving
Exactly.
permission for each other to say, hey, do we work? If we don't, cool. Then I'm just going to applaud you from here. Like, keep rocking, keep doing your thing. Like, obviously, we vibrated in for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then the next question is, what's the lesson in that?
And it could just be expansion.
That's it. It could
It could
just
be
be the
practice and
expansion.
expansion. That's what I'm trying to remind myself that, like, just because I'm interested in someone and someone's interested in me doesn't mean that they have to be the one.
Totally. Putting those expectations on anybody early on is you're just setting her up for
Oh,
self-sabotage, for failure
oh,
right out of the
wow.
gate.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves to be curious about.
Hmm.
Like it's such a sweeter space to just be like, oh my God, I cannot wait to ask these questions. Like when you,
Yeah, it's fun to like hear
yeah,
what they have to say.
peel back the
Consider.
layers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's juicy in its own right. And if someone's saying to you, I am interested in you, I would really like to build that friendship. I mean, I think that's okay. You just roll into it and, figure it out from there. But I
Yeah.
think I think that's one of the things.
And
So,
I think it's important too, really fast. I just want to say, like, I think it's
yeah,
important to note, like, regardless of whether or not you're an anxious attachment or you're avoidant or disorganized or secure, like, that doesn't mean you don't get to be in a relationship.
that's right. No, you're still
It's
lovable.
still that thing. If you don't have to show up perfectly healed, right? Like we're gonna
Hell
grow,
no.
we're gonna learn, we're gonna, someone who's
All
anxious
I care is
and
someone
someone
to be
who's avoidant
curious.
attachment could come together and figure it out.
Well, healing together is what the planet is asking for, is what the collective
Absolutely.
and the stars are telling us is that the more love there is, the more people can heal and
Mhm.
then love and heal together. Because we know, because my therapist, I told you one time, said, you can only get so far on your own. The
Mhm.
the pain and the struggle of healing with another person is also the duality of it is also the thing that brings you the closest through that adversity.
Yeah. Hmm.
So when you think of like this whole shift of healing, is it like healing, self-protection, or do you think it's both?
In terms of being avoidant?
Yeah. Like this with, well, no, with the awareness shift.
Oh, with the
Like,
awareness. I mean, I think that in the past I wasn't aware of my own patterns. And now I have the toolkit I've built up that allows me to observe my own patterns.
yep.
And I think that is healing.
Yeah,
So here
it
I am,
is.
like I used to be very deeply, anxious attachment. And the pendulum has kind of swung and I've landed over in, avoidant. But I'm very deeply aware of it and I'm recognizing it. I'm seeing it happen in real time to a point where I'm like, ooh, that's not how I want to show up.
Hmm.
That doesn't feel good, even though it feels good to protect myself. It doesn't feel good how I'm protecting myself.
Well, one thing that I did learn over the last couple of years, right, is discernment. So
Yeah.
having discernment, you can still be excited. You could still feel the avoidance.
Yeah.
And also that is true is that you can just be discerning but heart open.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so like, like I mentioned, like I'm just talking to someone right now, getting to know someone and seeing how those patterns are showing up for me has been fascinating. And then I'm choosing to not
Run
behave,
away.
behave that way. I'm choosing to not run away. I'm
I mean,
choosing to stay curious.
that's all anyone can ask. That's like if someone ends up liking you on an app, they're basically saying, "Hey, I'm willing to participate in
Yes.
data collection together. Are you into
The
it? Like, do you
consent,
want
the consent form. We've
the
agreed.
consent?" Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The minute you say like to somebody,
Yeah.
you're now agreeing. You are now in an agreement with that person to engage in a behavior that collects data. That's the allowable collecting truth and collecting honesty
Yeah.
and collecting data together. And that's all anyone is agreeing on in that moment. Isn't that like how much weight we put into
So much, so much. It's mind-boggling how much pressure we put on ourselves in that oh,
right.
someone liked me on Hinge, that must be the one.
Right, right. We jump into it or they feel really good. I mean, I can absolutely discern between soul connection and not now. Like I can truly, I know it immediately. In fact, it's just like, I'm like, are you on the pattern? Like I need,
Yeah, oh yeah,
like, it's
yeah.
just a validation for me, but
Yeah.
I already know it. Like I can sense it now. And it's really cool that my vibration is allowing some of the neatest women I've ever gotten to like get to know over the last few years. It's like, I feel really grateful by the things that I get to learn from each of these people because they're just so unique.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so what do you think it'll take for you to continue to do this work, lean in, like not in theory, but like in your body around becoming more secure in a relationship? Okay, hold on. There's two parts to this.
Okay.
One about you, and
Mhm.
two, how the partner needs to, someone needs to
Mhm.
show up
Mhm.
for you so
Yeah.
that you can trust in their attachment and trust what they're kind of saying so that you can continue to be secure in it.
So for myself, I think it's really it's so ironic because of that Instagram post I did a couple of weeks ago of I'm not gonna date until my kids
I
are
know,
grown up,
it still cracks me up that
and
you
I
did that.
truly believe that in the moment.
Of course you did.
And I'm not saying I don't believe it. I
Right.
there's a part of me that's like, yes, I could be single all the way up until my children are grown and I would be okay. And that's that secure
Totally.
piece, right? Of like, if that is the story that I end up having, that's okay. That's
Totally.
not the story I desire, though.
That's right.
And I have to be real about that. And so, really giving myself permission to be okay with both things. Being okay with if naturally my life looks like I'm single until my children are older, that's okay. But then also, it's all right to acknowledge that I do want a partner and I miss dating and allowing those things to coexist.
I
And then
know.
also just putting myself out there
Yeah.
and being okay if it doesn't land
Yeah.
and continuing to show up and being continuing to use my tools and to be curious and to notice my patterns and work through them.
Yeah. I mean, I just genuinely, like romance or not, I genuinely just really enjoy getting to know people.
Yeah, you do.
I
Yeah.
really do. Like, it's just so freaking fun. So, if you met someone who matched your pace, and would that feel comforting or unnerving?
Well, I didn't answer the second part of the other
Oh,
question.
yeah, yeah.
And how would
Answer the
they need to
second
show
part.
up?
Yes.
Yeah, so what I feel like right now, knowing what I know about myself and what that could potentially look like, I feel like I really do need to have a bit of a slow burn with someone,
Yeah.
with consistency from them so that my system gets used to them and my system gets to understand that that there is truth to this and there is a mutual building to this and it's not just me trying to cling on to something and be chosen and all of that, that it's mutual, it's real. Whether or not that continues is not really what I need to know. It's just I
Yeah.
need to see the consistency of,
Yeah.
at least for now, that this person is showing up.
Yeah. I will tell you that as a very consistent person,
Yeah, you are.
and typically has to be the consistency person to
Mhm.
prove. It is such a joy when you get to be that person, but I really appreciate when the not non-consistent, I don't want to say that, but the more avoidant or the other attached is able to verbalize and like say, hey, this is what I need. And if I'm in it for the right reasons, if I'm being intentional about it and I really
Mhm.
am interested, then it is easy for me to show up like that.
Yeah.
It's like, really? That's all you're asking? Like it's a pleasure to
The
almost,
cookie.
yeah, it's like it's a pleasure to like prove them wrong in a sense. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
prove them like that not everybody is like what they had and that they could
Yeah.
actually enjoy someone's consistency and
Yeah.
whether or not it's meant to last or not. I know that I'm not the villain in that story for them.
100%. And
It's
I
just
think,
like they're like, whoa, I learned something from that with her, and I'm like, that's a joy for me to do no matter what, because we know that's part of my life purpose on this planet.
yeah.
So for me, it's like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm like, I needed to get to where to here so I could literally just help heal people
Yeah.
through love, through truly my open heart, my love.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really important, and I think the thing I'm experiencing for myself is that, um, there is a level of, to call in the kind of partner that you want, you also have to be that kind of partner.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I want to be with someone who's consistent and shows up and is vulnerable and chooses me, I also have to do those same things.
That's right. That's right.
And I
But
can't run away.
that's right. No, you really can't. And when it's enjoyable and you're actually, breaking walls and building something, it's actually so wonderful, right? It's like it just can be so fun. It's like, oh, this is what it feels like. Oh, it's fun. It's not
Mhm.
supposed to be painful and crying my friend said yesterday, my friend Renee, she said that butterflies for her is just masked as butterflies is the meaning term,
Mhm.
but it really is masked as anxiety.
Yeah.
And I didn't even put that together. I just thought butterflies were the sparks and the sparks, but the sparks are
But
actually,
sparks are also anxiety.
I know, but I never even thought about it
It's
because
the
I'm thinking
nervous
of it
system
in like,
warning.
right, but I'm thinking about it in like Hallmark terms, which, and that they always talk about butterflies and being excited. And I'd like to see Hallmark and like Lifetime movies start talking more emotionally intelligent around the feelings of love because they could change a whole new generation of people watching just by these subtle, gradual ways of saying like, wow, I've never felt calm around anybody.
Mhm.
And like,
We need like the dating equivalent of Inside Out.
yes.
We need a movie that's like Inside Out, but for adults who are dating.
I love that. Well, it could still be Inside Out 3. Now she's in college dating.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Because, when that movie first came out, I remember just being so blown away of this is going to be such an incredible tool for kids for learning emotional intelligence.
Yes.
And
Yep.
and as a neurodivergent person, the visuals of our internal parts, like I don't I want to know. I want to know, did an IFS therapist help write this movie?
I wonder, you could probably ask ChatGPT, they probably would say it.
Because the visualization of the parts that we have, the burdens they carry, and the jobs they'd rather
I,
be doing on all of
I'm
that, it's
sure
just
it was a
brilliant.
team of therapists, honestly. I
It
bet it
had to have
was.
been. It had to have been. It was
It's
chef
so
kiss
brilliant.
brilliant. And
Uh-huh.
but that, like, taking that back to dating, it's like when we're dating, we're always going to have these little voices, these little parts, these little triggers, these things are going to come up. And part of our job as someone who wants to have a partner eventually is to take care of that, to take care of that for ourselves instead of outsourcing it to the people that we're dating.
I don't think there's anything more beautiful in my eyes when someone that I'm connected with, friendship, whatever, my mom, even when she has an aha moment with me, or you just feel like, even, and especially like with my child or whatnot, it's so beautiful when someone feels seen and heard in the moment.
Yeah.
It's like if everyone could approach and I'm not talking about the people who put casual or checking things out, right? I'm
Hmm.
talking about the intentional people who are like, I am looking for a long-term partner relationship, whatever it is, nesting partner, because of our previous, like talking about all these
Yeah.
different ways to love people. It
Right.
doesn't matter what culture you follow, what practice you are in love. The main thing is, can you just be curious about the other person? That's all it is. It's like, and allow it. I mean, that's why these decks of cards were not strangers. All these different types of icebreakers and questions is that it's to take the pressure off self and ego and
Hmm.
just play a game getting to know each other. It's like it's just getting back to that place of like, let's not think about it. Here, let's just read this card. And you can't think about past or future in that moment. You're just
Yeah.
focused on the present. And I think they're so brilliant for it. And the depth of questions, it's very intentional. And so I highly suggest getting a deck of those cards And that as you start to get to know somebody, I mean, even if you're texting, you can take a picture of one of the questions and you could start making it a part if you're long distance, you could start making it part of your daily routine as much as pulling an oracle card is, you know, you can be like, okay, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we pick one of those cards and then we're kind of loosey-goosey the other days, you know,
I
whatever.
think I also recently saw that I think there's an app for that for couples or people who are
Yes, long
dating each
distance.
other,
Yeah,
like
there is.
that you can, it sends you each a question that you have to answer.
Hmm.
The other person sees
And
your
you don't
answer
see
to
the
that.
other question until
Yeah,
you've
and you
answered,
both
right?
answered.
I love
And
that.
I saw that recently. Like I saw an advertisement for that. And I was like, that seems like a really great way for like even couples who are already in a serious relationship to like
I'll put it in the show
just
notes. I
take
know
it
exactly.
deeper and get to know each other more, you know.
Yeah.
I
I
think that's
think,
really cool.
but I think if you're in person and you are a little anxious or you are a little avoidant, having these as like icebreakers, you can pull a few cards and bring them with you on the date. And
Yeah.
be like, hey, I pulled some random cards, or bring the deck and say, here, pick. So they don't know, they don't think like you pre-chose, you know, anything specific, you know, that kind
I
of,
will say someone I've been talking to recently has been asking some really great questions.
I
Just
love that for you.
and it's so low key, low pressure where it just to my brain it just feels like, oh, like you're being curious and not only am I giving you like truth for answers and it feels good, but then like you're asking more questions based on my response and you're telling me your thoughts all about that same question. So
Yeah.
it really does. It feels even if it's lighthearted and playful, it just feels more connected.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's all, you know, I just think it's part of the process, but I think it's just such a mindset thing around dating now. It's like it's more about just staying curious and collecting some of that data and now having a list of pretty solid questions to figure out where they are on the healing scale. I think that's really been important to me.
I think that should be our next episode. How to discern.
Ooh, I like that.
How to discern
Maybe we'll get
someone on
Samantha on it.
the Ooh, we should.
That would be a good
That'd
one.
be a good
And
one,
shoot,
Pod.
that would be fun.
Get
Okay,
ready
well,
for that one, Pod Squad.
I know that'll be great. Anyways, this was fun. I'm so glad you're on a healing journey around the dating and stuff, and it's fun to unpack that stuff with you.
Thanks for unpacking it with me. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster for me, but I love it too.
I mean, I went through mine, so
Yeah.
I'm here for you always.
Yay.
Okay, love you.
Love you. Bye.
Thanks, Pod Squad. See you later. Appreciate you.
If you enjoyed this episode today, be sure to subscribe and share because what do we say, baby?
Sharing is caring.